This is an introduction to Installment B, modules 5, 6, and 7. So the next modules and cases 5, 6, and 7 introduce you to three foundations of corporate social responsibility analysis. First, property and contract. Second, stakeholders, in particular NGOs. And third, environmental monitoring. Our definition of property rights in this course is very broad, referring to any right or power, legal or otherwise, claimed by a group or organization. There has been a dramatic proliferation in the assertion of property rights in Western countries in the last 50 or 60 years, and more recently in developing economies as well. This assertion of property rights by groups external to business is often set against the traditional rights of management to manage their businesses in the manner they see fit to maximize the benefit for shareholders. Historically, external challenges to the profit-seeking rights of Western business began with the rights of employees to organize and bargain collectively. This evolved into rights claims by customers for product safety and information, and then spread to a wide variety of issues and claimants. For example, businesses today confront such issues as the rights of unprotected groups, such as wildlife not yet born. As we will see in our cases, many rights are in play today, and there are many groups asserting or advocating for them. As business is not alone in facing new rights issues, for example, in the U.S. universities, students are asserting the right to avoid what are called microaggressions. These are often related to speakers, texts, and viewpoints that make certain categories of students uncomfortable. The assertion of rights gives rise to challenges to the traditional social contract for the business firm. We define social contract as the relationship between a social organization and its members, defining mutual expectations, rights, and duties. Extended to the business-society relationship, social contract focuses on the origin, power, and legitimacy of expectations placed on the enterprise by various external actors. We can summarize the social contract for the business firm in a modern free market economy as follows. Formally, it is still the limited economic contract of early capitalism, defined by three key relationships between the firm, shareholders, customers, and employees. However, over the past century, this contract has evolved to where the traditional contract is constrained by laws and regulations and unwritten social and cultural demands. The result today is a formal and informal bargaining process in the public domain with a range of what we call stakeholders. This process takes place in the marketplace, in the media, in public policy making, the decisions of government, and in intellectual circles, books, journals, and universities, where people who are the intelligentsia of the country write and speak. From a managerial perspective, and the perspective of this course, the goal is to understand how these non-economic factors impact business decision-making. What is it that various stakeholders want from me and my business? Are the expectations reasonable, given my fiduciary responsibilities to shareholders and the firm? Each of the cases in this course can be summarized as a clash between the business firm and management's definition of its rights and responsibilities under a social contract, and the assertion of conflicting rights and associated social contract definitions and responsibilities by external actors, or what we are referring to as stakeholders. Let me say a little bit more about the idea of stakeholders. We refer to stakeholders as actors internal and external to the firm involved with a legitimate stake or claim in business decisions. These would include employees and the unions that represent them, suppliers and customers, local communities, government, non-governmental organizations and other community groups, and of course, shareholders. From the business point of view, we're interested not only in who the stakeholders are that are involved in a particular case, but also what is their mission, their power, and their legitimacy. And in particular, what are the goals of the stakeholders in this particular case? How likely are the stakeholders to use their power in a given case situation? Will they act and devote their scarce resources to this case and this situation? How do we respond to those stakeholders in a manner that still maintains the integrity of our firm? So in this course, we pay particular attention to two stakeholders: the governmental entities, who we refer to as public policymakers, and non-governmental organizations, NGOs. Finally, in Module 7, we address an activity which is becoming essential for a company called environmental monitoring. Essentially, it poses the question, given the multiplicity of stakeholders and issues, how does the firm keep track of the ever-increasing external demands on it? If it is done in a systematic manner, we refer to this process as environmental monitoring or sometimes environmental scanning. So environmental monitoring, the term we will use, is an environmental information collection process which involves reading environmental signals and bringing environmental information in those signals into the organization in a systematic way. So we can characterize environmental signals along three dimensions. First, the strength of the signal, which we will measure by assessing what is the probability that the event it portends will in fact occur on a scale, let's say, from 0 to 100%. Second, the timing of a signaled event. If it does occur, will it occur next month, next year, or 5 to 10 years from now? Third, the potential impact of the signaled event on the organization. Its significance in terms of the economic threat or opportunity it presents to the firm. So in sum, before the firm can begin formulating a strategy on how to respond to environmental challenges, it needs to collect good information so it understands the property issues involved and the stakeholders who are championing those property issues, and the potential for these issues and stakeholders to impact the definition of the firm's social contract. To get a sense of this, pick up any daily newspaper or any news source on the internet and identify the signals in the general business environment that could impact any business enterprise. The rise of China, the struggle of the rise of India, the Middle East, the uncertainty and what's going to happen in the relationship between Eastern Europe and the rest of the EU, Brexit, the U.S. political situation under President Trump, the overall health of the global economy now, and the possibility that the continued growth will not occur. All of these represent environmental signals. The question is, how will they affect our firm?